Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you had a great recess week and you came back full of energy to continue with this semester. This video is for week number 7 of the workshop. Remember that there is not a video for week number 6 because that was the recess week. And there won't be a video for next week because that's the week you're gonna have your quiz. So in this video I will talk about 3 things. First, your previous evaluation. Second, the quiz next week. And third, your current evaluation. Today is your evaluation number 2. So let's begin. First, about your previous evaluation. All of you did great. All your comments on YouTube were very well written. They were very organized. You follow the instructions and that's really cool. I checked all your comments on the YouTube video and I answered them and I gave you my feedback. And now your grades are available in Aula Virtual. As I said before, you all did great. So keep working on that. Today we're gonna have a new evaluation that is about speaking. So use that feedback that I gave you in your previous evaluation to improve your speaking skills in this evaluation. The second important thing I want you to know, next week we have our first quiz. This quiz is about unit 7, 8, 9, and 10. All the contents that we've seen in class will help you to study for this test. My personal recommendation is that you study using the to-do lists with the activities I created and the activities from the software, so you feel very prepared for the test. And also another recommendation, today's evaluation will help you to practice for the test as well. So be prepared and do your homework if you haven't done it yet. The test will take 50 minutes and it will be available since the time our class is scheduled up to midnight. And now the third part of this video and the most important one is the evaluation that you have today. Today you will have to speak about something. You wrote before about your inspirational leader, and today, as we are in the unit about films and movies, you will have to talk about a movie you have watched recently, or a movie you like, or a movie you dislike. So now let's see the content for you to do it. Before we start, I'm gonna be talking about films, but films and movies are the same. The word films is used in British English and the word movie is used in American English. So now let's begin. I want you to think about a movie or a film you've recently watched. What kind of film is it? What sort of film is it? To answer, you can just say, it's an action movie, or it's an action film. It's a thriller, it's a comedy, and so on. With some words, you need to say film afterwards, like action film, horror film, historical film, or sci-fi film. With other words, you don't say film afterwards, like drama, thriller, musical, or western. So don't say it's a thriller film. Just say it's a thriller. Now think about who was the director, who's in it, where is it set, or is it based on a book? Do you know what the question who's in it means? This is asking about the actors. It's a short way to ask which actors are in the film. Think about a film you know. It could be something you saw recently or maybe a film you particularly like. How would you answer these questions? You could say it was directed by Stanley Kubrick. In conversational English, you can also use the name as an adjective, like this. It's a Stanley Kubrick film. To talk about actors, you may say it stars Samuel L. Jackson and Kurt Russell. This sounds quite formal, so if you want to sound more informal, you can say Samuel L. Jackson and Kurt Russell are in it. To say where and when the story takes place. You could say it's set in Paris in the 1920s, or it's set in the near future in an imaginary country which is ruled by corporations. Finally, if a film is an adaptation of something else, like a book or maybe a video game, you can use the verb based on. For example, it's based on the book by Stephen King. Okay, now it's your turn to talk. Think about a film you know. Use the language from this section to make 2 or 3 sentences to introduce the film and give some basic information about it. Pause the video and do it now. How's that? Remember that you can always review a section if you need more time to practice. Let's look now at our next point. If you enjoyed a film, you could use positive adjectives to describe it, like original, good fun, touching, or sweet. Sweet describes a film which makes you feel happy and warm. Often, romantic films are sweet. My favorite. Touching describes something which makes you feel strong emotions. You can also say moving, which has a similar meaning. If a film is touching or moving, you'll probably be thinking about it for some time after it finishes. If a film really makes you think and see things in a new way, we could describe it as thought-provoking. A film which has a realistic story and good acting could be described as believable. If a film is believable, you feel like you could be watching real people in real situations. A good comedy film could be hilarious. Hilarious describes something which is extremely funny. What else could you say about a film which you liked? You may give some details or reason as to why you liked it. For example, the story was really interesting and original. Or, the acting was amazing, really believable. Or, it had great special effects and incredible action scenes. You could also mention what kind of reviews the film got and whether it won any awards. For example, it got really good reviews. It was nominated for 8 Oscars. It won several awards at the Cannes Festival. Okay, now it's your turn. Your job is to talk about a film you like, for example. Try to make 3 or 4 sentences describing the film and why you like it. There are several adjectives to describe a film you don't like. Awful, or slow, or boring, and predictable. Slow means that the story doesn't develop quickly, or that some scenes in the film go on for too long. What other adjectives could you use to describe a film which you don't like? You can also take positive adjectives and make them negative. For example, unoriginal or unbelievable. Can you think of a film which you don't like? Why didn't you like it? As before, you should try to give reasons to explain why you didn't like something, of course. You could say something like, the lead actor was really bad. He was completely emotionless. The plot was stupid. Nothing made any sense. It was completely unfunny. No one in the whole cinema laughed once. Now it's your chance to practice. Think of a film which you saw, which you didn't like. Make 2 or 3 sentences to describe the film and say why you didn't like it. Pause the video and say your sentences aloud now. You're ready? Okay, so that was the content for your evaluation today. Now it's time to talk about your evaluation, the third point of this video. Now, with that content, let's see how you can put all this language together into a longer answer. Your job in this evaluation is to make a longer answer using language from this lesson to talk about a film you've seen. You need to say what kind of film it is, give some basic information about it, say if you like or dislike it, and explain why. But before you do that, let's do some examples together. Here is one. I'm going to tell you about the film Gravity, which is one of my favorite films from the last few years. It's kind of a sci-fi film, but it's set in the present day, and it doesn't feature aliens or anything like that. So you could say that it's more of a thriller. It was directed by Alfonso Cuarón, and it stars Sandra Bullock and George Clooney as two American astronauts. Most of the story takes place in space, in orbit, around the Earth. I really like it because the visuals and the special effects are incredible. It's really atmospheric and it gives you a good sense of the loneliness and terror of being stranded in space. I would say it's one of the best space films I've ever seen. Could you make an answer like this? Before you try, let's do one more example. I never saw Titanic until quite recently. Everyone raves about it, like it's the best film ever made. But honestly, I wasn't impressed. The cast was good. Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet are great actors, but I found it boring. The biggest problem is that it's predictable. You know the story beforehand, so there can't be any surprises. I also thought it was too long and slow. It's over 3 hours, but there's not enough plot to fill so much time. Okay, now it's your turn. Use the language from this video and look up for any other words you need. You need to make a short video, at least 30 seconds, and talk about a film you recently watched. It can be a film you like or dislike, but remember, you have to give reason. Once again, remember that you need to say what kind of film is it, give some basic information about it, say if you like it or dislike it, and explain why. You have 2 weeks to do this video, but I strongly recommend you to do it this week so that I can give you my feedback, and also that will help you to prepare yourself for the quiz next week. You will have to upload your video on Aula Virtual, and the folder for you to drop your video, it's going to be in the activities section of the workshop. Okay, that's all for today. I hope you have a great week. Take care, be safe, wash your hands, and see you next week. Bye!